Hey lovers, I know it's been a while, but welcome to Sacred Soulmates. I am your goddess Euphoria. I've enjoyed my holidays, I'll say it that way. I very much so enjoyed the holiday season, the how choosy I am about the people that I keep around me. I have very much so enjoyed my time with those people. And I hope you did the same. Over here on this channel, we celebrate sacred union, divine love, which begins within with the balance of the masculine and feminine energies within yourself. Because only from that place of being rooted in love can you even attract somebody who's going to love you correctly. Because you have to teach people how to treat you. So once you know how to treat yourself, then you begin to meet people who know how to treat you as well. I read on the chakra points over here, starting from the crown and going down to the roots. And there are other chakras, but we keep it mainstream so everybody can get some. The first thing that came out is creation. And with this, first off, the first thing that came to mind when I saw this card was gray matter. Gray matter would be like, I'm getting like spinal fluid and kundalini awakening and, you know, all the deep energies and spiritual energies and stuff like that. And this is like somebody becoming at one with themselves and that putting you on like a fresh canvas. It's like you have just a fresh start, a clean slate to work with, and you are approaching your connections with a lot more wisdom this time around. You know, it's just what you do. You know, with that crown chakra, is basically your state of being. You know, the energy that you operate by as a whole. You know, it begins at the head. So this is a change that you've gone through yourself. Like you've had a change of mind where maybe if before you were kind of had like an addictive tendency to like keep going back to relationships or keep revisiting people from the past, or you know, kind of keep patterns going of the same type of situations or keep meeting the same type of people. It's like you have a clean slate. You've been released from that. You've been loosed from that, and you're not doing that anymore. Moving into the third eye chakra, we have the Hierophant. It's like you're a lot more structured. You're a lot more picky about the type of people that you are allowing around you. Call it religious if you want to, but it's just a lot more structured. You're a lot more structured. You have higher standards, and you don't plan on releasing those standards, letting them down, letting them go in any way, shape, or form for anyone. In the throat chakra, we have the Lovers. And it's not like you being rude to people. It's not like you, well, if you can't do this and that for me, it's none of that. It's very soft. It's very subtle. It's very much so a way of being. Like I said, you have a fresh slate. You have been loosed, released. I don't know if you did spiritual cleansings. I don't know if you snatched closure is what I heard. Because I was about to say, I don't know if you got closure, but snatched closure came to me, meaning you didn't wait on somebody else to give you closure for a relationship. You just chose to end it. You just chose to let it go. You chose to transmute it. You chose to think of the lessons from it only and not of any heartbreak or any trauma or anything. Or if you did have trauma that was kind of lingering in your body, you've chosen to release that. Maybe you have been doing more breathing practices or being more mindful about like muscle relaxation when you become more present in your body because you're rooted in love and therefore not rooted in fear. So your body's not always on edge. You become more cognizant of when your muscles are tense or like when your cheeks be clenched, you know, stuff like that. Or your cheeks at the bottom or cheeks, you know, here. Some people clench their jaw and don't even know they be clenching their jaw. Teeth, somebody could have had teeth problems because of that, or you would have mouth pain because of that. That could be relevant. But either way, it's like it's just an overall softening. And that includes the way you think and the way you speak to people. It's just a lot softer. And if somebody puts you in a situation or tries to reel you into a situation where you have to raise your voice, you just don't have it, that tendency or that, you know, that gullibility to be pulled into something like that. It's just not there anymore. You're like, I'll just walk away from it. I just don't want it in my life. Like, so there's just a real, true, grand reset happening within you. And that is very attractive energy. With the creation card, you are actively creating the circumstances or actively creating the world around you that will spit out a significant other that also aligns with the way that you treat yourself and love yourself within. In the heart chakra, we have the Ace of Wands. And it's like, again, it's not harsh. You're not fussing with nobody about it, but you are very much so not going back and forth with people. It's like, it's my way or the highway. So in your heart of hearts, you really feel that way. And because of that Ace of Wands energy, it's like somebody who used to have your heart like back then, or who used to like play with your heart back in the day, they may be struggling with that change within you. Like it may be causing them to like bump up against a brick wall. Like they not understanding that it don't work no more. So you may have people who are trying to like challenge you and trying to like poke at you and see if they can still get a reaction, or see if you still, will be reeled back into their mind games and stuff like that. But again, it's like it's just not there. You just don't have that impulse anymore. It's my way or the highway. And you ain't gonna argue with them about it. You just gonna like get missing. Your presence just won't be there. And for somebody, your lack of presence in their life, they struggling with that right now. It's hard for them to face the fact that they missed their opportunity and that opportunity is not coming back around. Especially if they ain't done no changing within themselves. If they're the same person and they're not working on themselves at the same level. And most people don't work at the same level as you. That's just what it is. Everybody's on their own timeline. So it's very seldom that you have two people on the exact same timeline making the exact same, changes within themselves. Because usually two people on the same timeline making those changes at the same time are already in union. That's a planned thing. It's just not a coincidence that happens. It's intentionality. And that's another thing that you're requiring from people right now. Like if somebody think that they gonna come into your life and win your heart, it has to be intentional. It can't be somebody bumbling, fumbling around in a pissy dating pool and thinking that, oh, well, this is the best of the dating pool, so I'm just going to deal with this person until something better comes along. No, you require somebody to claim you. You require being chosen, because you are chosen within yourself. Like this is a soul awakened being that I'm talking to. You are chosen. You've done the work. You've ascended from a past life or past life tendencies or old addictive personality traits or bad habits, karmic tendencies. You've ascended past that. Not saying you're perfect, but the results are showing that you're just not about that anymore. So you won't be associated with somebody who is still on that. It's just like people who, go to rehab and they are serious about their sobriety because it's intentional. They don't sit around with folks who still smoke and drink. It's intentional. You are making intentional choices in your environment in the way that you are, which is creation, and that's creating the ideal setting for that connection to come in. With the Chariot in the solar plexus position, you may have already began to see the difference in the caliber of people that you're attracting. Like, not even just romantic, but just like at work or in life or at Starbucks. You could just be talking to people who seem to have their head on a lot more straight, and people who are more no nonsense and just say it exactly as it is, and just deal with you face to face, mano y mano type energy. Like you may just be finding yourself dealing with more people like that, more people who I'm getting who stand in a warrior stance. And it's because of how she's like standing here, like people who take up space and don't apologize for it. You may be finding yourself dealing with more people like that. For a feminine, that's going to, yield a lot more impressive masculine counterparts. The type of men who take up space and don't apologize for it and don't cower, but also are not trying to impede on somebody else's space, but they just take up their space and they mean what they say and they do what they can, and they don't, be anxious and kind of flighty or avoidant about what they can't do. This is like an absence of avoidant energy. So you may have dealt with somebody in the past who was avoidant, or that could have been the type that you were attracted to. Those anxious, avoidant people who, as soon as they think that somebody is going to require something more out of them, they become flighty. They start ghosting, or they start making plans and then not showing up. You may have dealt with a lot of that in your past, but that energy is cycling out. Like you clearly see it fading. And in the sacral chakra, you are beginning to meet more people who you can actively create with, because they are more trustworthy. They are more dependable. They're more trustworthy and they're more dependable because they show up for themselves first and foremost. When you meet people who show up for themselves and do the work on themselves first, you can pretty much be sure that whatever they give to other people is going to pour from a cup that is self-sustaining. This is an ever-filling cup. These are people who fill their own cup. Therefore, they can pour into somebody else's. They're not somebody who have to stick their straw and siphon somebody else's juice and then try to breadcrumb you a few drops of somebody else's juice. You're not doing that. You're not dealing with folks who date around and then try to pick up little pieces of other people's personalities so that they can build up a persona for themselves. And then they go to, hiding in the bushes and stuff when it's time for them to actually be that. I'm hearing Lizzo, why men great till they gotta be great? You ain't dealing with people who are so great until they actually have to show up and be great. You're dealing with ones who actually have that real stance. These really are great people that you're coming into contact to. And again, like I said, because of that Chariot card and that Four of Wands, like you may have already met somebody and it's like, okay, I see some promise with you. I see what you got going on. I see what you're doing there, brother. I see what you're doing, sister. I like where you're going. Can I tag along? Like that type of energy is here with you. And all of this is rooted in you having a better judgment. You being a better judge of people. And that starts with you first calling judgment on yourself. Somebody who has done the work, who is creating, from a fresh, clean slate. That means that you washed out your own sins. You wasn't going to no church. You wasn't going to no pastor. You wasn't going to no therapist. You was alone in a room. Just me and you. Me, myself, and I. You dealt with self first. And once you were able to have that awakening, that soul awakening within yourself, once you were able to tap into that divine love within yourself, the union of masculine and feminine within, now you're starting to see things change outside of yourself with that judgment card. Because judgment is such a high energy. It's a lot of high energies here, actually. We have the Hierophant, a major arcana, the Lovers, major arcana, the Chariot, major arcana, and Judgment, major arcana. That's 4 major arcanas. So there's 4 is always base energy to me, like a solid foundation. So you got a big sturdy table. If you had somebody or used to deal with folks who ask you what you bring to the table, you don't even entertain those questions anymore. You are the table. In the most humble way you can say it, but not even trying to be humble, just being truthful. So you don't even entertain those type of conversations anymore, because if somebody was really interested in you, they would be able to look at you and tell what you bring to the table. You're not somebody who just position yourself to be something more than what you actually are. It shows with that Chariot energy, the creation that you are creating, whatever you are manifesting, the changes that you're making in yourself, they are visible. The standards that you have are visible. Like it's visible that you don't be out here, just giving yourself away to any old body. It's visible in your conversation. Like I said, with that Lover's energy, you have very attractive conversation, because I'm getting like a feminine energy here. If it is a masculine, it's more like you have a very assertive but comforting conversation. Like when a feminine gets around you, they know that they're safe. They know that everything gonna be all right, because you're not gonna let nothing crazy go down in your presence. And it's also like a presence where people don't even really try you like that. You ain't even got to be the biggest, toughest, most muscular, buff guy, macho man. It's just something about your energy. It's just something about don't play that shit written across your forehead. If we could be honest, things are gonna go your way. And if you're in an environment where things keep, being confusing and they not going your way, you know how to just exit, because you're not needy, independent. And that's highly attractive to feminine energies. For feminines, again, you have this soft, magnetic kind of way about you, where you're not walking around like a bag lady. You have that light as a feather energy. You have that kind of butterfly, flowers, youthful, girlish energy about you. You see this pink dress, you have that pink dressed energy, because you're not weighed down by nothing. You're not allowing past karma. Even if you had a karmic past, like when people meet you, they won't even be able to see what you went through. Like you don't look like what you went through, and you don't act like what you went through. You wouldn't be, even if you are a single woman with children, you don't introduce yourself as, I'm a single mother. How I just said that, you're a single woman who has children. You are a person first and foremost. Like nothing about your ex relationships have anything to do with you in this moment. Even if you do have children, well, that you just so happen to be a mother. You just happen to have that maternal energy from experience. It's not because somebody made me a mama or he trapped me. You have none of that going on. Even if that's what actually happened, you don't have the remnants of that ugliness in you. You don't communicate like that. You don't think of yourself like that. You don't call yourself nobody's baby's mama, that type of energy. And people can see it on you. Like with that creation energy, when you look around you, you looking at creation. So when we see creation energy, I'm not just talking about, some fugazi manifesting. I'm not talking about that anxious avoidant where you pulling pieces off of what other people say and you presenting a front. But when somebody see you like off of social media, you not nothing like, what I'm saying? We're not giving catfish. Creation is creation. Like you look at a tree and that's a tree. You look at grass and that's grass. You look at the sun, it's the sun. You look at the moon, it's the moon. When somebody looks at you, you are who you say you are. So nobody can get it twisted. And that's causing people to think highly of you. That's even if it's not like a viral energy or like a popular type energy, even if you kind of keep to yourself, when you do meet people or the people that you have around you, they can sense this change in you and they can just feel how solid it is. You have a really I want to say godly, but not in like a religious type of way. It's like your soul is free. And that's the type of vibe that you can just feel off somebody. You just feel that energy. And it's making you very interesting. Like people can imagine themselves like, if I had, you know what I'm saying, if I had a little time with this person, like I wonder how our, conversations would be. So that energy of visualizing things, that's manifestation. Even if people aren't aware of it, when you are looking at something and you have positive feelings toward it and you start imagining different scenarios, that's manifesting. So if you feel like you just having a lot more flirtatious energy about you, or you getting more friend requests all of a sudden, or people are starting to treat you a little different, be a little more nice to you and stuff like that, it's because on a collective level you have like the quantity, like the number of individual minds that are thinking positively of you is increasing. So that is manifesting in your 3D world as more fluid exchanges with the people around you. And also that's manifesting as you coming into contact with new people who are more in alignment with what it is that you have set up as standards in your life. So that's what's up. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here because that's positive energy, and we don't want to. Sometimes you can keep pulling cards until some other energies try to make themselves relevant, and nah. I do my due diligence. I'm a very responsible channeler, so I don't even play like that. Stop it, cut it. That's a part of that high standards. That's exactly what I was talking about. You're very much so disciplined now in what you allow around you. Good for you. I'll see you on the next one.